Oh, there we are. Yes, 11:11 p.m. is when we like to broadcast these particular live little bits. That is local time in England and the rest of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And wherever you are, welcome. If you're on the replay, you're certainly on a different part of the day, time. It's, well, you know what it is. Just check out your watch or probably your mobile phone, cell phone, like most people do these days, to check out what the time is right now. But if you are only watching, you're only watching on the replay, then follow, particularly if you're watching on Periscope. 3 dots in the corner of the screen at the bottom. If you press those, there's an option to follow me. Subscribe on YouTube. You can obviously follow on Facebook as well, and wherever you're watching there's an option to follow or subscribe, and then you'll receive a notification when I go live in the future, and then you won't miss a thing. Well, unless you want to, and want to then catch up after that on the replay. But you do have the option, if you know we're live, to join in the conversation and the chat as and when it's happening. So let me see there. Hi Martin. Depends, well, how I've adjusted the chair. I mean, at the moment we're looking not high, not low, but pretty much just right. But hello to you, Brenda, and thank you for joining us. Indeed, whoever's out there, hopefully they'll be joining us via one of the live platforms soon. Sooner rather than later. We've been out and about in the last, 36 hours or so. Certainly yesterday, which was Tuesday, as we broadcast live here. Tuesday certainly was a day where I was travelling, daytime. Back into London I went, and out again very quickly as I could, to get back to where I needed to be for work and all things, you know, when it comes to using the computer. Particularly I'm thinking email, blah blah blah. And we didn't go live at this time, sort of 24 hours ago yesterday. There's a very good reason for that, and I was preparing to tell you, and it wouldn't have been on this broadcast, but then I've realised that actually we can't go into too many details anytime soon, but it will be soon enough. An incident happened, and I'm glad to say, and I think you're more to the point, glad to know that all is back on track. No pun intended, as you'll hear in the future. But yes, indeed. Hello, says Brenda, and with a funny face. Yeah, I thought there was something extra. Just, yeah, got to make sure we have to mention the emojis for sure. Matthew Calkin, hello, welcome from Australia. He's joining us on Periscope. I wonder if he's going to send us a message, but more to the point, I wonder if the message is actually going to come up over there with the chat. I missed it, had to work. Hope all good. Well, yes, there's certainly been, shall we say, U-turn to where things were about 28 hours ago, referring to the incident that meant that we couldn't be here yesterday live. In fact, I was fast asleep at this time 24 hours ago, and some well needed sleep is indeed what I was taking. But hey, we're back here, as I say. We're all here. I say we, except for those people there watching the replay. Goodness me. And then, of course, Patty will probably join us 20 minutes late, as ever, from Wisconsin. Yeah, if you're new, by the way, and you just come across this, literally pressed a few buttons, don't know what you did, well, now you know what you're listening to. Or I say what, who, and yeah, there we go. Have to say, Land Down Under. Yes, indeed. Very, very popular is that tune, isn't it? Men at Work, Down Under there, Matthew. Looks like the chat's not working here at the moment in Vision. But then we're kind of used to that not working now at the moment, guys and girls that are regular. Sorry about that. But it is working if you're on YouTube. Heaven knows why it's not working on the other platforms. So I have to look manually. And those that are watching and can't see the other chat, I guess I'll have to let you know what's going on over here, for example, on Periscope. New York City Archie. Yep, true, says Matthew. Hang on, no. Matthew, we said hi. You did. I see, yes, they both said hello to you. Matthew Calkin, and so did New York City Archie. both said hello to me on the Periscope platform at the same time, even though their chat isn't displaying here. If you want your chat to display at the moment, because there's another technical glitch with the software that we're using, I suggest that you guys and girls on any other platform, certainly you can head over to YouTube. I wonder if you're on Facebook, if anyone's going to sort of just chip in there and let us know that Facebook. I've got a feeling that the Facebook or even the Chasebook, yeah, that's more like it, chat is actually working as well. So how have you been since we last actually got together here at this kind of part of the 24-hour cycle like we've been doing recently? I hope all's good and it's been moving forward in a positive way. As I say, things are back on a positive sort of well, direction at the moment. Hi Matthew, hope you are well, says Brenda over there on YouTube, still, as we've mentioned just before. And Brenda says that good that I had some rest, because it's rest is good. Rest is definitely good, and of course you can have too much rest. I mean, I have definitely I've had too much rest a long time ago, but you certainly a weekend, and you're sort of laying there maybe on a Saturday morning, possibly a Sunday, thinking, oh, I just don't want to move, and then you fall back to sleep again, and then maybe wake up again and still feel it, and then you wake up after the third time, yeah, and it's like midday for whatever reason. Maybe you had a really crazy Friday night out, maybe you didn't, you just had a very, very busy week and thought, no, I'm going to lay in, and then you realise as you're trying to get up at midday, it's like it's a real chore because you've had too much sleep, those extra few hours where you kept on drifting back to sleep when you were actually supposed to be getting out of that horizontal position and bed. Yes, good, says Matthew. Doesn't remember my name. No, New York City Archie, I do remember your name. I certainly remember you being here previously. It's just that reading here, it's listen, focusing over there on the chat that's on the screen, making sure that everything's running, plus, dare I say, everything else that's going on in my head right now. And I'm referring back to today, yesterday, the whole frigging, obviously, year. It's been rather demanding and certainly challenging. How about that? And we'll get into that sort of chat in the not too distant future, but we're going to leave it there for the moment. Busy, crazy, but moving forward, as you say. Yeah, well, unless you've got a time machine, of course, Brenda Tupper, and someone's certainly working on that right now as we speak. And okay, interesting. Yeah, fine. Okay, everyone. So you still thank you for the hearts, by the way, that aren't happening at the moment on Periscope. No, know what I'm saying? See what I did there? Yeah. But we do like the hearts when you just press the screen gently, have a few hearts. Oh, yeah, they all add up eventually. Yeah, to tens, hundreds, thousands, and before you know it, millions. But of course, again, you can, if you press the three dots there, not only follow me, but you've got a few other options on there. The bottom of the screen on Periscope, the arrow up means that you can share this out with other people that you might want to join you and us here and enjoy the experience. Not sure, did you catch the broadcast, anyone, when I've been travelling, particularly 10 hours ago, something like that, probably about 8 hours ago. I was travelling today, and you may have seen that. Just giving people an update, particularly that broadcast was to let people know that the break from, well, when a lot of people expected us to be here at 11:11 on the 24th of September, Tuesday, as I was saying earlier, because it didn't happen. I did want people to know sooner rather than later that the delay in me returning wasn't going to be longer, well, than it has been. Hope you are okay. Yes, Brenda, I am, but it's only because of the wonderful people that are around me right now, and because a bit of luck involved as well, let's put it like that. But what I will say, and what I wanted to mention to you guys and girls on a very serious note, is that, in our daily life, particularly in our professional capacity, and if you have got a skilled trade and you're sort of representing, say, a company, a corporation, I'm visualizing in terms of, if you've got a uniform, for example, whether it's a doctor, a nurse, whether it's somebody who is one of those tours, you have the tours around the cities sometimes on a bus, And a lot of cities across the planet have these double-decker buses like we do in London everywhere on the public transportation system, as well as just for tour buses, the double-decker bus, yeah. And often people wear a uniform there with their shirt, tie, and some sort of blazer that has livery on it, telling everyone which company that person represents. When you're in that capacity, number one, what you can't afford to do is carry across anything that's been happening, certainly negative, in your personal life when your work begins and your shift begins. Yeah, if someone's really got on your nerves and you've just been speaking at home to your internet provider because it's not, the computer's not working, the internet's not working, and it's really upset you. Yeah, because we don't need to be rude here yet. Well, once you get to work 2 hours later, you can have that chat obviously with your colleagues and say, oh my goodness me, what a morning I've had. Let me just have that cup of coffee. Incidentally, this is a cup of tea. Got it ready and almost finished actually, because I made it, in I was going to say in good time, in too much good time before we went live. But yeah, so you can have a little chat with someone at work about it, that sort of thing. But when the customers start to, approaching you and you're going to do business with them, then you can't have an attitude with them that might be negative due to your emotions and the way you were made to feel before you went to work that day or evening. Just saying, okay? A lot of people find that difficult. It can be a challenge at times, but if you are feeling in such a way, then once you arrive at your job, I think you just got to take a few minutes time out just to sort of, almost like one of these yoga things and meditation things where you just have to, maybe, I don't know, possibly some breathing might help, and just get into that frame of mind of, right, now I'm at work, let's do my best here. And of course it works the same the other way around as well, guys and girls. A little bit different, but still, you shouldn't, if you've had a hard day at work, someone's really upset you. Again, let's take the bus as an example. Some of the passengers is a right nasty lot. Doesn't have to be the tour bus, could be maybe a regular public transportation bus driver or train driver. When you arrive home with your family, if that's your situation, or even if you're talking to someone on the phone, don't have an attitude with them because other people have upset you. And in fact, best is to have that chat with them and ask their advice as well, and or even just say to them, can I help you let off some steam? And without them having to be a metaphorical punch bag. I did, the replays were great. Thank you very much, says Brenda. Thank you very much. So yeah, so I hope that all makes sense, everyone. It's not supposed to be cryptic either, although I'm just being very careful to go into specifics at this time. But something happened yesterday, and all I can say is that while I was travelling, someone suggested to me that I was doing so without paying the correct fare. And under the circumstances, with me at the moment and personal stuff going on, that didn't go down too well with me. They were kind of using what they thought was in their power and their right to sort of make a point, and it didn't work out for them in the end how they thought it might. It certainly didn't work out for me how it could have done. When sometimes people talk to you as though you're a child, and they ask you a question. I'm having this a lot lately at the moment with different professionals, but again, actually this happened today. You're speaking with someone, you're having sort of like a meeting or a conversation, and someone asks you a question. So if they've asked you a question, then you give the answer, a truthful answer. A detailed answer possibly, but certainly not just a yes or no answer. Ideally you want to to be a bit more specific in some cases. So you give your answer, but then like a politician, they either repeat their first question or statement, as though you're deaf and stupid and just a retard, yeah, or they ignore what you've just said, particularly if you've just responded and part of your response is a question. And that happened to me today actually, and when I responded with a question, I was very, very quickly almost sort of shot down because the person didn't want to enter into the way the conversation had been made to go by myself. But then why bother having the conversation then? That's the point. Have no expectations ever in life. Okay, and particularly if you ask someone what their favourite colour is in a meeting, for example, if that person deviates slightly, they might say to you, yes, my favourite colour is green, and but you know what, I'm really hungry right now and I want a sandwich, and I think it will be a maybe a tuna and sweet corn sandwich, then they've obviously had a reason to say that. So, you know, you can either don't just ignore it and just say, right, now we're moving on to the next question, or anyway, it will all become even clearer for you guys and girls in the future when I can be more specific. But as I say, said individual, it's a shame really, because I've known them for a while, worked with them for a while, let's put it like that, been their clients for a while, and this incident, this scenario has happened on more than one occasion, and it's very unfortunate because they, in general, I think they're good at their job. Maybe I caught this person at a bad moment, but again, that shouldn't have been become my problem. What's going on with the conversation? I have to leave all my issues at home. The worst place to have it is in front of my... Absolutely. Yes. It's ironic that you should mention that, that obviously you're a teacher. And yes, everything that you present to your class at school, Brenda, of course, well, that, you know, they're going to learn something from it. After all, they're at school, they're children. But children, all of us, even adults, we learn from what we see, hear and interact with every day anyway. Yeah, we either learn that it's a good thing or a bad thing. We learn that it's something that, hey, it is positive and I want more of that, and I should be involved in it more, and I should be encouraged to do it more, and I should encourage others to do it more. Or, hey, wait a minute. No, I shouldn't be looking over there, you know, because people in the school play area outside, just around the corner there, they're smoking something that they shouldn't be. Well, they're smoking and they shouldn't be smoking anything. So yeah, you know, particularly at the age maybe that they are. Anyway, so oh no, says Brenda. Oh yes, says martinshine.com. Don't forget that. Sorry, Periscope, you see. Now let's have a look here. Hi, Patty's over there on Periscope. Gandhi Japandi. Oh goodness me, I hope they've been listening to all the, I say waffle. Dennis 7255, hello to you. Brenda, someone says hello, and I'm not sure who that was, but we might be able to see. No, we can't now. Just lost the comments on Periscope. But welcome everyone on Periscope. Do join us on Facebook or on YouTube if you want the chat to appear on the screen. Certainly YouTube's going to do that for you if you comment. But at the moment I'm having to, well, remind myself, and I haven't done too well yet. But then I was quite focused on a very serious topic actually. New York City Archie has joined again, it says. Maybe you haven't. The technology sometimes does say to us that someone's joined and you've actually been there all the time. Hello, Patty. Hi, Patty, and hi, Gandhi, says Brenda. Now, hang on a second, Brenda. Let's get this right here, because I see. Okay, Brenda's just confusing me now, Gandhi Japandi, because Gandhi Japandi's apparently gone now from Periscope, off and busy somewhere else. But never mind. We'll pick. I heard bits and pieces. Did you? Really? That's a good song. That. I can't remember who sings that one, Patty. Maybe Brenda knows. Brenda, Patty, Gandhi Japandi, Matthew Calkin. Who sang Bits and Pieces? Do you remember that song? No? Okay, I'm here now. Okay, Brenda's going over to... Patty, you missed it. Brenda said that she's just going off now. Yeah, I can't remember what platform she said she's going to. I think she said MySpace. Maybe not. Ha ha ha, says Brenda Tupper. Yeah, absolutely. Fantabulous. Right, everyone, what's to do? We haven't mentioned the competition anytime soon, so very, or recently, should I say, or soon, whichever, anytime close to this moment until now. So if you want to win your Apple Ice Sponge, oh yeah, there it is, the Apple Ice Sponge, fresh still here, waiting for someone to take ownership. One apple eye sponge, and as I say, you can sponge anything else other than your eyes, but apparently some people like to sponge their eyes, hence the eye sponge. There we are, the Cactass, which of course is a headphone splitter. I'm not going to show you many more details about that other than it is a headphone splitter, mark my words. Same with this one here, the Wowie Pop. Okay, the ice lolly, the popsicle, the lollipop, underneath, well, if you take off, you're able to pull off the stick there, and as you pull it away and off of the lolly, there is a socket underneath there, and it's a plug actually. It's the male, a plug, and there's your female sockets there on the other end. Just inside you can see there's one there, and somewhere around there's another one. Just about make it out. Anyway, you can plug two sets of headphones in there. You plug that into your device, and then two people can listen to the same music at the same time if you're sitting around the swimming pool, or if you're sitting on a bus or something traveling together. All you got to do is tell me, listen carefully, the answer to the question, which is, if you tell someone something in secret or want them to keep it confidential, then what would you think and expect their name to be, ideally? The example I give as to how we're thinking along those lines is if you saw a man on the floor on one knee, what would you expect his name to be, ideally? The answer, Neil, because he's on one knee. In the same way, I will repeat the question once more. If you tell someone some information and it's supposed to be something that, well, you want them to keep confidential, a bit of a secret, what would their name possibly be, ideally? And it won't be James, because we're looking for a lady's name. Okay, it's a female name. And the first person to send me a direct message on Twitter, and that's correct, and you've got to follow me on Twitter as well, the first person to do both those things will be our winner and receive all three of those small prizes. Mary of London, hi all. Oh, here we go. At least, yes. So everyone, earlier on, Brenda, right at the beginning, she was saying hi Martin, and I did explain to her there, Mary, that the way I'd adjusted the seat on this broadcast, I was neither high or low. It was kind of just right when we started off. But yes, I guess Mary seems to think that everyone's in a position that's more up there at the moment. So hi indeed all. Dave Clark 5, thanks Mary. That question is making me a bit crazy. No, I just think you're crazy anyway. That's definitely. Dave Clark 5, thank you very much for that, Mary of London. Hope you're well, Patty. Oh, this is good. See, everyone's getting onto you. Let's have a check here, just in case. Oh, I heard. Oh, right. Josie and Ice. Jose. Hello to you. New York City Archie apparently is still there, possibly. But what's really funny is now I've just looked back and seen Patty said earlier on, as you remember now, Patty said, I heard bits and pieces. And I think that's what you were referring to regarding the song. Yeah, the track that I mentioned. And now we know it was definitely the Dave Clark 5, because Mary's told us all, so fantabulous. Me too, Brenda. Hi Mary. Hey, hi Patty. Hi everyone from everyone, I think is what's being said here, right? Yeah, okay. Who's missing, by the way? Give me a name, please do, of someone who's missing. That'll be interesting. Type away there. Come on. Who is missing from our broadcast? Give me a regular name, somebody that's regular, that's missing right now. And while you type away there, I'll just remind people of who I am and what I'm doing here. And I think we're finished with that now. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. Excellent. Right. Have we got any missing people on the list right now? Martin, I had a walking taco today. Have you ever eaten one? A walking taco? Well, first of all, I don't eat any type of taco, really. Certainly when I'm in England, and when I've been in the United States of America, maybe I've eaten them once, twice. Actually, the best tacos I had, where was it? I was in a restaurant in, I think it was in the UK, in London, and they were just really fresh. And I can't remember the Mexican place that I was at. I think it was Central London with a former friend, and they were really, really good. Adam's missing, yes he is. Taco. says Patty B. Diva Dwarf's missing. Yeah, anyone else? Who else? Hands up. Yes, Mary. LOL. LOL. Yeah, this is good. This is good. You're definitely not wrong, people. The names that have been mentioned are definitely missing. In fact, Diva Dwarf Rose was with us earlier today during my mobile out and about travel broadcast, so that was good. What's going on with that microphone? Oh dear, dearie me. Anyway, is that it's sitting on the attire? Can you hear a bit of? Is it going to fall off now? Never mind. We'll leave it be. Yes, Mary. What's this all about? Hang on. I thought I'd missed something. Maybe I haven't. What's going on Periscope? Anything? I'm listening. Oh, good for you. Excellent. And why not New York City Archie? Glad you are. Thank you for joining, and join us more often. Particularly, you've got to join us more often as well. You there who have just called us on the replay. Yeah. Don't forget, follow. Join us when we go live. You can join in the chat with everyone else. Who else is missing? Come on, there must be other. I know there's other people missing. Oh, hang on a second. What's going on? I've got to check my device over here. What happened to that one person that used to feed their chickens all the time? Yeah, the farmer and competition winner. I'm not sure. Up there in the north somewhere. Well, up in Yorkshire. Don't really know. But hanging around maybe about 36 hours ago or so. But yeah, not sure. And we've got Chris B. 1967, Chris Berry. Who else is missing? Elliot Mann's not here. We've got loads of. Oh, JJ Cruel, Carola. Hope you're well there, JJ Cruel. And Nick Wright 1 in the Carolinas in the United States of America. Look at that. You see, this is it. We should, where are they? What's the excuse? What's the reason that they're not here on this broadcast? I'm sure they'll tell us in the future. They certainly won't be telling us in the past. So there we are. Any questions, people, for each other? And what's the hot topic at the moment? We've had our competition. I've got a very busy day tomorrow, very important day tomorrow because it's Thursday. They're always important at the moment. I'll tell you what, I've got something really important to do right now. Oh, look. Yes. Oh, definitely. Look, I have to say, I was naughty earlier on, and as much as I couldn't wait, I had to open these. They smell really zingy. These are the lemon and lime flavoured Jaffa cakes, and of course, despite the fact that it's almost gone, my tea, I've got to dip a Jaffa. Just tell you what, that has definitely been. I think we can see. Oh, maybe you can't. I tell you what. Ooh, yeah, that's definitely yes. Oh yes. Any more? Yes. Oh yeah. J. Which J, Brenda? You mean JJ Crawl? Because there's technically another person, at least one, that could possibly be, you could be referring to, such as our competition winner, Farmer. Martin, do you make it out the countryside by you, or do you stay in the city? Well, where I am currently, the main base for me at the moment, that's kind of in the countryside actually. We're in a little town, but yeah, so I guess I do. I think the answer to your question is yes, I do make it out to the countryside, yeah, but not as far out into the countryside as we could be, or as other people are, you know, more towards villages and really small little places. But yeah, why do you ask, I wonder? I've found a British food website. I've ordered some Maltesers and such. Have you, Brenda? Really? Okay. Well, everybody's got to keep watching this space, I think, soon. So you better keep that under wraps, because it sounds like it could be some competition going on there, possibly. There are quite a few websites out there, particularly for expats. It's a bit like if you're from the United States of America, there'll be websites for you, if you're from the North American ski continent and you're living in Germany. There will be websites where you can order your Tootsie Rolls, your Hershey bars, and what are they called now? What's the it's what is the name of that candy bar? It's a person's name. It's a lady's name. It's on the tip of my tongue, but it's not. Oh, come on, someone's going to get there immediately now. It's a girl's name, female name, something like that. It's very popular in the USA, and I could have said anything really, but now that's on my mind, I can't think of any other bars. I mean, I can, obviously, your Milky Ways. I've seen some scenery online, and I was wondering if you were near those between. Yes, absolutely, Patty. Yeah, they're not too far away. And obviously the reason you see them is because between where I am and London, yeah, I'm about 35 miles away from the city at the moment. Babe Ruth, yeah, that's right, Brenda. That's exactly it. Yeah, Babe Ruth, thank you for that. Well, I see what you did there actually, Patty. You're thinking that was maybe a female name, Kit Kat. I can see why you would have said that, but it was definitely Babe Ruth that I was thinking of. They're like a silvery metallic foil looking wrapping. Yeah, it might actually be silverish. Yeah, silver red, with a bit of blue maybe. But yeah, never tried a Babe Ruth. I don't think. If I did, it must have been a long time ago because I couldn't remember the incident, the experience, and I can't remember what they would taste like. They have nuts though. Oh, they certainly have plenty of nuts in the United States of America. Yes, oh yeah. Well, as you know, I mean, California. That's why they say that California is like a bowl of granola because it's full of fruits, flakes, and nuts. You must have heard that plenty of times before. I ordered 50 sugar-free lollipops in home. Yeah, but one a night. But that's only for the next 50 nights then, Brenda. So you're going to have to, yeah, I mean, they'll keep you busy for a while. And you say one a night. I wonder, are they going to be moreish and you're going to end up with more than one on a particular night? Patty, are you going to be driving anytime soon? I've got to ask because I know what goes on usually some point during this broadcast. I have to say, the broadcast, I think it's my mind at the moment, people, but I was thinking to myself, if you'd have said to me, you know, has the broadcast been going for quite a while yet or not? I'd have said it's going sort of slowish. I would have expected, when I looked at the clock, goodness me, what happened there? Lucky you got the tissue there. Oh, probably the time to read something like 1/2 the hour when I just looked at the clock here. But it's actually 15 minutes to the next hour. So yeah, it's weird that. Just sort of losing sense of time and how fast it is actually going at the moment. But as I say, a lot going on at the moment with the grey matter here, as it is for all of us, but certainly this week, it's been a very busy week. And as I say, there has been at least a couple of very unfortunate incidents, not related. They don't have the same family name. Yes, but no, the incidents weren't related directly as such. So yeah. Can't eat more as you would have to watch TV in the loo. Gotcha there, Mary. What do you think there? Do you reckon they are licorice? Yeah, possibly. Is that what it is? Maybe that's why. You could be right. No, not until later. Ooh, what's going on? Grey Matter by Only Go Bingo. Hey, what great song and band. Oinigo Boinigo. I have to maybe check that out later. Mary, do you think you overthink situations? Certainly did in the past, Mary. Definitely was introspective, possibly too much at times. That's a really good discussion to have again amongst all the others. We've got some seriously relevant, important conversations to have. Don't want to keep delaying them because that's all I've said in the past as well. Yeah, we will have them at some point, blah, 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 blah. But definitely these conversations will be had, if not before, right at the beginning of 2020. You have never heard of them, Martin? No. But going back to that, do you overthink situations? Yeah, some people don't think enough though, do they? But yes, it can be to your detriment to overthink things, absolutely. And that borders on also when you're considerate about other people. Yeah, isn't it interesting how many, dare I say, arseholes, where did that come from, in this world that appear to be successful, certainly financially and with their business and work. Yeah, they seem to be successful with the attitude of like they are that they are it. They are their own little bubble and world, and nothing else really matters, just so long as they're okay. I could mention the President of the United States of America as an example of the type of person I mean. I'm not, I don't know him, obviously, thankfully, but and as I say, this is it. I don't know him, so I can't really judge. Despite I see him in the media all the time, obviously, old Donald Duck, Trump, yes, that one. But we don't know the man. We're hearing all these reports, and they can't all be fake, but they can't all be. Well, I say they can't, certainly on the internet, all be 100% true. Particularly depending on the source, you got to have your doubts about certain things, particularly if it's ketchup. I think you know what I mean. Yeah. So as I say, overthinking things. Some people they come across like they're not thinking about others enough. Yeah, and maybe they should. But yeah. Why'd you ask that then, Mary of London, I wonder? Great question, says Brenda W. Yes, overthinking can mentally drain you. Yeah, definitely, Patty. Been there for sure. I agree, Patty. Yeah, well, with everything personal over the last, quite a lot of months, certainly, I would say that overthinking, being considerate, and almost, if not, putting others before yourself, can be to your detriment. Oh yeah, you are very tense this evening, says Mary. Tense? Do you think so? I'm not doing very well then, hiding the situation. But then that wasn't my intention, because I was as open with you as I always am, as much as I can be, or feel that I can be at the moment, regarding what's happened in the last 36 hours. But I do actually, that's a very invaluable comment from Mary, actually, directly, indirectly, whichever way you want to take it, because as I say, yeah, tense. So you're pushing me now, Mary. You're pushing me to sort of get on with the story, but I can't, because and why can't I? Oh no! Look what you've done there. It's not a can of worms you're opening up. It's just a truism regarding some. I mentioned it earlier. Someone that I encountered. You'll have to listen back, Mary, if you didn't hear. But someone made an accusation and a judgment which was not necessarily incorrect, but yeah. They should have used their noodle, their grey matter. They should have used their initiative. And where I'm referring to, we did say earlier on openly, regarding professionals, when you go to, there's a rule book, yeah, for a lot of jobs and job titles and positions that people hold. But sometimes you've just got to forget the rule book, or at least while you bear the rule book in mind and what the rules are, the old 10 commandments, on the back page from 1 to 10, in an emergency situation, say on an airplane, you're going to have to sometimes not necessarily go by the book, depending on what the situation is that's unfolded and developed and that you're presented with. Yeah. An example I was giving someone, a very close friend, earlier today, regarding what I'm alluding to, is, if you're someone who's operating a train and ensuring that the doors close and that the train safely goes off, the guard, the inspector, whoever, possibly the driver these days, they'll multitask. Yeah. Now, if that train's got to leave at the top of the hour and the doors have got to close and it's got to be off, if at 15 seconds to the hour, you still see someone sort of almost struggling off that train, and they happen to see, they're physically, you can see maybe, for example, they've got a limb missing. All right, so physically you can see that they're just needing to take their time, and you know they're obviously not as mobile as the average person. So what are you going to do? Suddenly shut the doors because the train has got to leave on time? Or do you use your initiative a bit and say to yourself, yeah, we've just got to wait until that person gets, even if we're late, leaving 20 seconds too late, yeah, minute for that matter, if someone's in a wheelchair, you have to just leave a bit later. And without putting anyone's safety in any danger, you might therefore, between that station you just left and the next one, just have to accelerate a bit faster, if that's possible to do. Or in addition, rather than an or, and rather than an or, it could be an or, but it could be an and, you can make an announcement on the train and just apologise to everyone and say, you know, we had a situation at the last station. You don't even need to just apologise for the slight delay, but people do like to have reasons for things generally. So you just say, you know, we had to just hold the train up while a passenger was just exiting the train safely, etc., etc. Does the person know you does this person, I thought that when I don't want to read this backwards, otherwise it'll all go crazy. Those people are self-centered and will always be that way. Yes, they're assholes, absolutely. I totally agree with you, definitely. Patty, let's just, it's silly wasting our time on multiple words, or we can say it in one sort of breath. But no, you're absolutely right. That's just me venting because I can, because I know in this situation that took place, the individual, I even told him before things escalated to where they did, that he should look at himself in the mirror. Very politely I did, and you know, direct to that person. There's no point in complaining about the person behind their back and talking. No, he needed to be told politely. There was no reason to be rude to him, but just that he'd made a wrong decision, and that when he wakes up the next day, he should have a big look in the mirror and question himself. He might have been doing his job, but he wasn't necessarily doing it as well as he could have done. He was doing it badly, in my opinion. Well, certainly after what happened. And I thought that when I watched you on DLR. What did you think on the DLR, Mary? What did you think? Does this person know you have a broadcast? Oh, does this person? Well, it's not just one person. It's just not one. It's not one situation. That particular person doesn't know. No, he doesn't. He was working on the train network. Goodness me, and he's not related in any way. Well, professionally, he doesn't work directly or indirectly with the lady on the t-shirt. Yeah, it was a completely different part of the train network. Smug a holes will get there. Yes, that's exactly what I said to him as well. I said to him, I don't know. I said to him, you know, we're all judged when we leave this mortal coil, whether you're a believer or not. I'm not just talking about anything you might refer to as God, but yeah, we will be judged in one way or the other. So, you know, he will have his turn when it comes to that. He'll be in line. But anyway, as I say, but my concern, sincerely, is the fact that while I am still here today to be able to comment on these sort of situations, and I'm able to, in the moment when it took place, actually express myself politely, unless the person invites another type of response, then I can do that. You know, I can give that feedback to them directly, yeah, and in a way that hopefully they'll take it on board and make them think could they be a better person, do their job better, just be a better person to everyone else, whether it's at work or at play. And there's a lot of people out there that can't do that. Yeah, they're in a really tough situation, mentally, physically, generally mentally though, and they'd just be intimidated. That happened today, actually. Another person on the train network, yeah, trying to be intimidating when I wouldn't sort of cooperate with him and start giving him my inside leg measurement, address, that sort of information. I wasn't withholding it from him. I just wasn't prepared. I didn't have the energy to start verbalizing it all. So I said, I referred him to somewhere else where he could get that information. And straight away the threats, if indirect threats started, oh well, you're breaking the law, and if this happens that'll happen, and if you don't do, and I'm like, yes, okay, whatever, okay. And he didn't like that, because it had to be done his way. And funny enough, when I caught up with one of his colleagues subsequently and spoke to him, what a decent person he was. And I didn't expect him to agree with me or say what he did, but he said that this individual that I met at first today, he was definitely what we call a job's worth, and yes, an old fart, and just not worth the energy to start getting upset over. Absolutely right. You were tense as you were a bit picky with people. Really? Okay, in what way was I picky about them? Are we talking about the lady with her hair in a bob or something? That's what springs to mind when you say that. It comes back around. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely, Brenda. Yeah, it's hard to deal with people that hide their feelings. Some people use their power to hide their emotions if they're upset as well. So if they've been upset by someone, yeah, they will take that out on someone else. What's the word? It's like it's almost what's it called? It's so it's when you're not like physically aggressive towards someone or shouting towards them, and that's what you are. What do you do? So it's passive aggressive, that sort of thing. Yeah, the train people don't like it when you broadcast while on the train. Well, if they're really keen to stop people doing that, they've got all the advertisements and warnings about various things everywhere. They just need to put up something there that says, it's not allowed on our trains. But they can't do that. They can't do that. You're allowed to broadcast in a public place. Okay, you're on a train and it's a sort of a privately owned company train thing, but it's a public area, and you know what, they've got their cameras filming us, so I'm quite happy. Depends on your intent as well, yes. Hair, clothes, etc. A bit unfair, I thought. Did you? Well, is it? I'm just remembering back to the lady when there was one lady who had a bob on her head, and I said something like, I referred to it like as it could have been an animal and that need feeding or something like that. Is that the one? I'm just trying to. Antagonist. Really funny you should say that, Brenda, because my final words to the a-hole today, as I exited the train, because I had to change trains, and then before I spoke to his really decent colleague, and wasn't just decent because he agreed with me, as I say, he was just ready to listen, because he's the first a-hole that I met on the train. He shouted out as I got off the train, because he realised, he had to stay with the train and when it left and be on the train. So the fact that I'd left the train without him taking my details and me giving them, he was a bit upset about that. So he shouted out to his colleague who was on the platform, this one, meaning me, take him off the platform, take him out away from the area, because of how he's been being aggressive and that sort of behaviour. And as I say, once the train had gone, I spoke to this other member of staff, and I said to him, do you want me to start from the beginning? If we can, that would be good. And I explained the situation, and he was very understanding. But, just before the train left, this other man turned around and said to me, I said to him, paraphrasing it, you're worse than what I would sometimes scrape off the bottom of my shoe. And his response was, I am only, or I'm doing my job. So my exact reply to him was what you just said. I said, no, you're being antagonistic. And that's exactly the point, yeah? It's a fine line, that, but don't be antagonistic. Certainly on the way London is at the moment as well, in the capital city, and people that work in the public sector, even police at the moment are being assaulted, but certainly public transport workers. There's no need to antagonise any members of anyone using your service, the trains, yeah, okay, because you just don't know. You can't judge a book by its cover. So someone with a smile on their face could actually have a blade in their pocket, and unfortunately I mentioned that. It's becoming such a common thing now, knife crime in London, shocking stuff. Again, a totally different conversation, but yeah, You know, you just can't take that risk. And if you know, why do that? The train, but why ask for your address? You did not have a ticket to travel. Yes, Mary, that's correct. Today I didn't, and that's because of what happened yesterday, which I can't go into. But in a nutshell, yesterday I was accused of not having the correct ticket, and as I say, all escalated out of control. But today I had to travel with no ticket, and I'd informed some people that would be happening. But when I went to give this person the explanation and how serious events were that unfolded yesterday, because of that, I was up front with him. I explained the situation, but he was still intent on pressing the magic buttons, taking my address, and giving me a fine. Yeah, because he could. And by the way, they're not on commission or anything like that, you understand. So whether they issue no tickets, 1 ticket, or 100, they're still paid the same, these people. There's a fine line. Yes, the train line. Haha, yes. It's the same as getting in the last word. My boys are great at that. Yeah, sort of. It can be similar, yeah, but I wouldn't say it's identical, but I get the point there, Brenda. London is stressing, it seems like London's getting pretty serious at the moment. It's probably worse than New York was when it was, well, on par with it anyway, you know, all things are taken into consideration. You have a lot of I can't go intos. Yeah, Mary, that's right. Yeah. I mean, not many people tell you that they've jumped on a train track. Not many people tell you, you know, that there's a lot of stuff going on for the last, well, I say months, certainly years, but certainly the last 12 months, when other people, because of their position in terms of their job, they act. Well, they say jump, and you're expected to request to them, how high did you mean? Yeah, and you're treated as though you're guilty until you are able to prove your innocence, guilty by association with certain individuals, and that sort of stuff. I didn't know people can get cited. When you say that, what how much is a fine on there, Mary? How much is a fine? It depends. It depends where you're travelling from and to. So they ask you where you're travelling. Usually, I think it depends also what the train company is. Different companies operate in different regions, certainly in the UK, and they'll all set their different fees, but I think they're all similar, and it depends on the distance that you were travelling. And from what I can gather, it seems to me, I think they charge you double than if you'd have bought a ticket to start with. I think you need a holiday. Mary, yes, and I nearly took a holiday from this existence 24 hours ago. However, you're not wrong, and unfortunately, the system doesn't allow you to say, hang on a minute, I need a holiday. Could you just put everything on pause, please, just for about 6 weeks while I deal with this break that I need? So, yeah, absolutely, which is also why I am sounding as I am, as I'm responding, in as much as the audacity, it's not even audacity, well, certain individuals have, but there are, as I say, systems, the law, what an arse the law is, certainly in this country, in the United Kingdom. I'll tell you something now. One of the things we haven't been able to talk about yet on here is the criminal court case, which people are aware took place, because I'd forgotten that we were broadcasting on my journeys to and from the proceedings that took place back in... It was spring 2018, seems like 2 years ago, but I haven't had an opportunity to talk about that. That was in reference to an incident that had happened how many months prior? Goodness me, losing the plot here now. That was in reference to an incident that had happened 6 months prior, was it? But yeah, so I was telling you about that because we haven't had an opportunity to speak about that specifically and exactly. But you know, I tell you now, from that experience there, the law doesn't work, justice doesn't prevail, certainly not all the time. And I tell you what I've learned over the last 2 years or so is that the reason it appears to work is because you hear in the news often, certainly in the UK over the last couple of decades, there's been some serious court cases yesteryear, and what you hear is that people were sent to jail, prison, but 20 years later it's discovered that actually they weren't guilty. Either the police contrived something or there was just a mistake made. Well, what happens is that mistakes are being constantly made, is what I've learned over the last couple of years from personal experience. And so if a mistake is made in a court case that you're involved in, yeah, and the person who should win the case actually loses, well, you've got another court case going on just down the corridor where the same thing happens. Yeah. So in other words, in the first case, if the defendant wins but they shouldn't, yeah, well, in the other court case, the plaintiff or the victim will win when they shouldn't. So it all evens itself out. So it seems like, hey, the jails and prisons are full of people that need to be there, while the other 50% of people are not in jail or prison because they were, well, they were awarded justice, if you like. Yeah. The Brits would have thrown this American in jail. Which one are we referring? Oh, you mean the one that lives in Ohio, in the Buckeye State, and works very closely with a gentleman by the name of Jeff? Yes. Total accident, Mary. Seriously. Hey, well, yes, he does need a holiday. Time to get out there and head to the States. He. Oh, yeah, no, absolutely, Patty. Yeah, that is definitely on the cards. But again, depending on my responsibilities in the future, that might not be able to happen as soon as it could otherwise. And I'd actually rather, I'll state now, now I of course, while I want to, I should have returned to the United States of America very, very, very speedily after the last visit, but because of personal circumstances and responsibilities that I've had to own, and I'm very happy to do so, and discuss with yourselves in approximately 12 weeks' time, I'm here. I'm here, and yeah, but who knows how long in the future before I will be packing the old suitcase again and heading out to do some more business over in the United States of America. We don't know. Hey, what's going on? You know, I've totally, sorry, Periscope. Don't believe all you read in the press, says Neil Garkey. We certainly don't do that. William George 141. Has joined us at some point. Mary Jane, I see. I'm listening. Oh, goodness me. And Lady Liz number 2, along with Ian Bullock. Yes, Ian, I'm glad I read that slowly and carefully, and I guess correctly. Yeah, because that's funny, actually, Ian, because we are talking, well, I won't use the B word, and don't need to make light of what I was talking about, but yes, I'm rambling now, aren't I? Martin, I think it is late Friday night outing coming up for you. Very possibly, Brenda. But yeah, that is very possible. But again, for various reasons, that isn't something I can just say, yes, I'm going to. Like, oh, hang on, have a Jaffa. Yeah. No, do you know what? Actually, I don't fancy. I tell you, I fancy a bit of tea. A bit of tea. Winding this down soon. Don't like saying winding it down, but that's just. Well, yeah, you know, it's just like, what was it yesterday? What was I saying yesterday? Was it earlier? Today I was using. Oh yeah, going forward. Oh goodness me. Now I don't mind. That sounded okay there. I think I just couldn't get it out of my head, that expression. And I first heard it about really being used. Terminology in the corporate sector about well, how many years ago was it now that I was working there? I think about 3 years ago, when I was working in the corporate sector, and they kept saying, going forward we're going to do this, and oh my good police, I'd rather we all turned our backs on our manager while he was saying that, and then we'd be all able to say, well, in fact some of us will be reversing, going backwards, because we're facing the other way, but we will still be joining you in that direction, and moving all together in the same direction. The B word, which one, Brenda? Bollocks? Which? Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, oh, sorry, was it? No, hang on, let's get it right. Goodness me. Terribly sorry there, Ian. Bullock. That's the one. Oh, dear. Is that one you're talking about? Which one are you talking about there, Brenda? Tell me. Yesterday, I was crabby, and I watched a couple of movies. That sounds like you've got to go and see the doctor if you're a bit, what did you say, crabby? Really? I'm surprised anyone would reveal such a thing in such a public domain, but well, there you go. I am much better today, but I hope you are. Yes, hope it's not contagious. Right, Xmas movies, good, Patty. Yeah, do you know what? I knew there was something. I had to, you just reminded me. I'm not gonna. I've got some images from one of the stores. I'm going to visit there probably tomorrow as well, actually, so I'll take some bits and pieces there just to remind everyone how close to the end of the year we actually are. Yeah, I mean, you've blown it now. Well, I could have not commented, but I'm telling you now, that was one of the things I was going to bring to the attention of you guys and girls out there, and anyone in between, because yes, time is flying, and before you know it, the festive season will be flung upon us. You are What? You all are friends, so why not? Right, no, absolutely, Patty, but it sticks. All this sticks, you know. Well, that's it. Once it's there, yeah, it's there forever now. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I have to assume that. That's the point. Well, it doesn't matter, as I say. You're right, Patty. You know, facts are facts, and that's it, really. I thought it was... okay. Right on, Brenda. The B word. Hopefully we have cheered you up a bit. Okay. Yes, you have. Yes, you have indeed. There's no denying it. There's no reason that I would want to or need to deny it. No, absolutely. That's you know, I do this because I enjoy it, and because I enjoy our friendly community. Absolutely. So yeah, of course. I mean, I would still, this is definitely work now, not necessarily on this particular occasion, but I think it was the broadcast about 48 hours ago. There was one where I was like, oh my goodness, I don't fancy going live, because it is work at the end. It's a commitment, yeah, and I'm not feeling 100% necessarily every 24 hours at 11:11 local time. But I have to say, there's never going to be a time that I broadcast that is as I would feel emotionally so negative like a regular employment job. Do you know what I'm saying? So there'll be never a time when I'm doing one of these broadcasts, when I'm presenting one of these broadcasts and involved in such a thing, and my energy level, my mindset is as low as it might have been if I was working for another company where I was employed to do this, for example, and because, you know, and I have to do it, I've got no choice, kind of thing. Yeah, yeah, that's a psychological thing, but I think that's the same for all of us, really. Yeah, but no, absolutely, this is awesome stuff, because we don't know who's going to join us at any time. Someone new, right, Mary? What's that, Mary? What's that? We are your therapist. Well, it's funny you say that, Mary. Again, I'm not going to deny that, but because I tell you, do you know something? Every time that sort of thought comes up in conversation, to myself in conversation, or you know, it's valid and a point that needs to be brought up. I always remember the time when I knew one of these kiosk workers at the train station, yeah, and I was talking to him about his business, you know, and he was just a bit upset that there's a lot of people that would just walk past, not acknowledge him. All the newspapers are laid out in the morning, along with the candy and the cups of coffee and the tea that's available and hot chocolate and the pastries, all that stuff and the other little bits and pieces that you would sell. And there were another group of people who would every now and then buy something from him, but then he'd have his regulars that every morning, same newspaper, well, not the same one, because otherwise the news would be a bit out of date by now, but you know what I mean. Yes, all right, same journal every day or most days, and always talking to him. And I said to him, you know what, you know, I said, you don't realize how important you are to these people. Some of them are stuffed in an office all day. Others, they're working somewhere else, maybe alone. The point is that even if someone doesn't buy anything from him, as they walk past him, if they know him and they look at him and they're like, hi, that social interaction, you don't have that if you're working from home, right? So that's pretty essential for a lot of people. And most people don't even realize consciously how much that is part of their social therapy and keeping them sane, well, and in the loop, if you like, you know. And so even this, I mean, for a lot of people now, obviously this is where social media becomes very unhealthy, because a lot of people are having meaningless conversations with people they've got no idea who they are. I mean, most of us here have not met one another, yeah, but the difference is we've had enough conversations now to know who's dedicated, who's enjoying the stuff, who's committed, both to what I do, both to what everyone else is inputting as well. And, you know, and then again, we have to understand that some people haven't been here. I'm quite happy to mention, don't need to by name, but somebody who's over there in mainland Europe who's not with us on this broadcast yet. She revealed to us that she hadn't been with us for, I think it was quite a number of weeks, because she had some ill health to deal with. But so long as that person knows that we're here for them whenever they want to return, awesome stuff, yeah. And that's what it's all about. But the fact is, I'm a firm believer. Oh, goodness me, you got me on one now. This really should have been one of our topics for. Well, we're moving into the realms now of one of the chats I would have with you guys and girls, and we will still have this again in the future, but a specific chat about the fact that, you know, we're here, and my firm belief is that the reason we're on this planet is to help one another. Yeah, it's simple as that. Whatever that means. It means whether you're growing tomatoes in your back garden yard and you have a few left over and you want to give them to your neighbour to just help them out, and you know, in those simple sort of, dare I say, down to earth and very simplistic ways. Or if someone needs a dollar here or there, and although it doesn't have to necessarily be that. Unfortunately, most people assume that straight away financial gain is what it's all about, and reward. It doesn't have to be directly dollar for dollar and that sort of thing. But as Mary mentioned, you know, in terms of being therapists, dogs, animals are therapy. They say that they're very good. You know, stroke, isn't it? Certainly for an elderly person, it's good therapy for them and therapeutic to them. For them, certainly if you're on your own, sitting there and yeah, relaxing you. Yeah. So there's no denying it. And the stupid thing, and it really f's me off, is that in the United States of America, for many years, it's been quite appropriate and not even, you know, looked at weirdly, and people never double take you when you turn and say, oh, I've got to go and see my therapist today. You know, it's a very common thing. A lot of people in the United States of America have therapists, yeah, official, you know, they engage a therapist, a professional therapist. Over here in Europe, certainly in England, if you say to someone, oh, I've got to go and see my therapist, straight away someone's going to assume you're just mentally ill. And I hasten to add, we're all mentally ill. You know, on different levels, most of us thankfully just slightly, and as I might have mentioned this recently, I certainly mentioned it off of the broadcasts, so forgive me if I'm not too clear on that at the moment, because I have had that conversation. I don't want to keep repeating the same conversations on here, you know, so close together. I don't think we've said it. So, you know, an arachnophobia, if you don't like spiders, it's only a small thing, but most people wouldn't say to you you're mentally ill, but you are. You absolutely are. Yeah? And we've all got something small like that going on, you know, that makes us a bit icky and, no thanks, you know, whatever it is. And technically, you know, all the stress and everything that comes out of, oh my goodness me, oh my goodness me, oh my goodness, I can't touch that, it's a mouse. You know, everything like that. Oh, okay, that's all in your mind because it isn't going to hurt you. That little spider, well, unless of course it's one of those mega big things that you get in Australia or maybe in the Nevada area of the United States of America. Sorry if I'm waffling on and everyone, but I wouldn't be doing it now if I didn't think it was relevant and helping people. The point is I need to look at your chat now. Right, Mary, I come on here for a variety of chit chat. Excellent. It's really good to have you on board, Mary, because I do realise, number one, whichever, let's say you've chosen today YouTube, well, frigging hell, YouTube, oh goodness, it's certainly the one for me to say. You could choose any one of thousands of channels, but you've chosen to, some would say, waste your time. I would suggest, well, as far as you're concerned, it's an investment and you're either learning something or just being entertained in a positive way, otherwise you wouldn't be here. It's as simple as that. Everything we do, no matter how small the percentage is, we're being selfish about it. We wouldn't be doing something if, you know, there was not a small part of it benefiting us in some way. Yeah, and that would be stupid if you were here and you didn't feel you were getting any sort of benefit. A lot of people, they'll come across something and start watching it. All of us, we've been there before. You will start watching something because someone sent you a link and it's ha 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 funny, great. Then the next video starts on whatever platform it's gone to, usually Facebook, and you know it's going automatically. It starts, and then you're watching that and you're going yeah. And then before you know it, you actually start getting a bit fed up with this. And that's when you say to yourself, hang on a minute, what am I actually watching this for? Oh yeah, because it automatically began while I was watching something that was more poignant that my friend sent me. Yeah. So again, that's when you realise your subconscious becomes a conscious thought, hang on a minute, I'm not enjoying this, I shouldn't be here, what am I here for? I'm getting no benefit. And then you obviously switch it off. But yes, as I say, it's really, really satisfying to know that there are people out there like Mary, for whatever reason, enjoy these broadcasts. Because as I say, if people didn't, we wouldn't be here. Well, again, someone like me might be here just talking to themselves. I mean, you have to be to start with. But hey, after a while, if you continue talking to yourself, it's either time to find another platform or another topic to speak with, or just give up, possibly. I put a table out for free homegrown veg for pass. That's brilliant, Mary. That really is good. I usually see that sort of thing in the countryside. Haven't seen it for ages because I haven't been out driving in the countryside for a long time. And then, of course, some people do also have a little tip jar or a little donation box, and they're like, you take what you like and please leave 50 pence, $1 here, whatever it is. Art is my therapy as well as children. Absolutely, Brenda. I certainly relate to that. How cool, Mary. It is, absolutely. Patty says, bug. Is that? Yeah. Insect. Got a bloody mouse living in our bird. Have you now? Oh, okay. Interesting. Maybe it's a flying mouse. And you just haven't realised, I don't know. Waffling on, is that also like rambling? Yes, Patty, yeah, absolutely. Waffling, rambling, mumbling, yeah. Or does it have to eat lots of waffle? Right, yes, okay. Please press the like button, people. What, for me? And also subscribe would be good on the, let's get it right on the YouTube platform as well. Yeah, certainly just press all the buttons. And you only need to worry if you start seeing smoke coming out of your digital device. Have you noticed all this waffling, Patty, waffling on, yeah, rambling on, has taken us well past the regular time where I would say, it's time to go, everyone. But hey, and that's mad, because it was not dragging on, but at a quarter to the hour of midnight, sort of 34 minutes after we'd started broadcasting, approximately, it seemed like it was weird. I had totally lost track of how the time was going. But anyway, but now look at it. We're doing overtime. It's good. Please, Mousetrap. Go. Really? Okay. Well, see now. There you go, Mary. You're gonna Mousetrap's going. Oh, poor Mrs. Oh, goodness. What are you going to do with the Mises that you find? Are you going to feed them? I think if I remember rightly, I've been told that cats will not go near or touch a Misi if it's already been killed. Yeah, they like them sort of fresh and like to kill them themselves if they're going to, well, include it as part of their diet. Yes, I saw the clock. You are overdue. Yeah, absolutely. Is that a complaint, Patty? Oh, another one, Brenda. LOL. Not as bad as a you-know-who moment. Not going to go into that right now. Don't have the energy, actually. If I had to, I would do a David Allen moment. Okay, there we go. There you go. See, now there you go, Mary. That was an example. Because I almost overthought it, it almost never happened. Yeah? And actually, I've got to mention there that what happened approximately 3:29 local time on the 25th of September 2019 here in England happened because it wasn't really thought about, and if it had been thought about it wouldn't have happened. Yeah, so that's that was very poignant to mention that now. I am, yes, but I nearly wasn't, if that's what you mean, Mary. Yeah. Okay, as you can see, Mary's going to say something else now, which probably won't be far from the truth, in relation to the fact that the audio has almost, well, slowed down so much it's about to go in reverse, possibly. Oh goodness me, if it goes in reverse, then you'll just have to catch up with us on YouTube and then hit the minus, sort of 0.5 speed or even -1, and if you try and play this in reverse, it then might make sense if we are talking too slow. Anyway, good Patty. I do that with bats. You catch bats, do you, Brenda? Again, that sounds like you've got to see the doctor if you've caught bats. I'm just saying. Night, Mary. Is Mary off? Did Mary say she's going? I didn't see that. But yeah. Hey, what's? Oh no, no. I'm confused. Bats are awesome. Do you know what? Where did I see bat? It might have been where I am at the moment. I might have seen a few bats, like a handful, flying around somewhere. I've just, as you've mentioned that, I'm thinking of Adam from Encore Media. Those are Mr. Roberts, yes, at Encore Media. Want to know more about them? Best place on the planet if you need to speak about anything IT, particularly if you've got an issue with your IT kit and products. But I think I just got a vision that I was with Adam and we were walking somewhere and we saw bats. Like, yeah. They are, yes. I'm confused. No, surely, Brenda. Surely, Patty, they're batty. Is that not right? I'm very confused now. Anyway, there we have it. I'd love to keep talking with you guys and girls longer and go into a bit more meaningful conversation, but not that it hasn't been. It's been a really, really good broadcast, and it has to be said, you've yielded the opportunity, Mary and others, but certainly when you said about the tent stuff, you've yielded the opportunity for me to say that you were far from wrong, as we've mentioned, and there's definitely a need for discussion in the future. I say need, personally, do you know something? I certainly didn't intend to mention it, as you'll understand, but you've already witnessed something that happened in approximately May time 2019 in a certain studio that took place. And that was an example of where a professional tried to use what they thought was, the appropriate attitude and persona to get their own way. Yeah, they didn't see it as what we're calling I can say, bullying, and they didn't see it as potentially being intimidating and out of order for those for the fact that those two words are needed, and you've already seen that on camera, yeah. So therefore, you know exactly what I'm talking about. People need to think twice, yeah, how they conduct themselves and how they want to get their message across and get their own frigging way, yeah. The problem is as well, a lot of people have interacted with others that have kowtowed to them. Is that the words? Yes, something like that. And you know, because, dare I say, the average person has been intimidated, they often haven't even realised they have been, if that makes sense. I would suggest there are people out there who, you know, if someone says, can you do this or would you do that? For some reason, it's in them. They're just going to say yes. They're just going to do it, particularly if that person is more senior and maybe, you know what it's like. They want to please that person for potential gain in the future and maybe promotion. Yeah, that sort of thing. Well, in the same way that you've seen that live here previously, all right, there's a lot of that going on always, and it's got to be stopped. I'm not going to change the world, but when it happens in my bubble of existence on planet Earth, then I will deal with it as appropriately as I can, and why not? So, you know, and politely as well is what I guess I'm also trying to say. But if the individual concerned wants to sort of confront me and use their own, what they think is the right demeanour, which actually is actually out of order, then they're inviting a retort that's different and blah blah blah. I'm rambling now, but as I say, yeah, it's too much ramble and too late. That's the thing. Hope you have good travels tomorrow and the train employees will be on better behaviour. Well, yeah, I can't. Well, as I say, there's no expectations or plans, but they're not going to get much of a response other than, well, something similar to today, really. Those that need to be aware have been made aware of the situation, and hopefully tomorrow, as far as I can see, tomorrow should be the last day of any issues, any major problems, should we say. Yeah, well, I did actually mention something hastily in a response to Mary earlier on. Does who like bats too? Me? What? Who are you referring to? I don't dislike bats. I know that can they? I think they can. Like any of us can have a little nibble and bite something, but I think bats can bite you if you're not careful. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but when you look at them up close, they're not exactly. A lot of people they're not that pretty, but they're not that ugly. I mean, I get why some people. It's irrelevant, though. You know, I mean, put that aside. Imagine that you've got poor eyesight and whatever. Are bats any good? Decent? Are they useful? What do they do in the food chain? That sort of thing. You know, I'm thinking along the lines of wasps, for example. They're not useful. So. I hope you. Sorry, on the neck. Right. Yes, maybe. Yeah, but then we're talking vampire stuff as well, possibly. Okay, Brenda. You have a good evening with your vampire thoughts and processes. Check out the Flying Fox. Do you know something? Yes, I've seen the Flying Fox, and I seem to. Yeah, they're much furrier, aren't they? Hence, they are. Yes, I've seen them, and they've been featured on one of these wonderful wildlife shows and programs on TV that we have here. Maybe disease. Yeah, that's true, Brenda. Yeah, but like a lot of wild animals, are going to have disease, aren't they? If they've been out there and stuff. So, but no, I think you're right there for sure. Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for being there. Particularly those on the replay as well, who we don't get too much of an option right now to acknowledge because, well, we don't. Certainly, Bournemouth again we'll say hello to, definitely. Kat's down there, is that right? Yeah. She's still not joining us anytime soon live. but she's definitely watching the replays. And everyone else that's regular or not, if you're new as well, thanks for watching. VV Brenda, haha. Okay, yeah, we have those at our zoo. Oh, yes, the flying foxes. Yeah. Right, I'll just double check because I haven't done a look for ages. Oh, I don't believe all your sorry, Periscope. But you know what? When was the last time I referred to Periscope on this broadcast? Goodness me, forgotten totally that Periscope's watching. Periscope, for those of you who are on Periscope, over there, Periscope should have been in with the chat if you were making any comments and entering any comments, but it didn't happen. The technology let us down there. I've really got to go, everyone, because I don't know if I'm sounding it. Mary's going to be like, yes, I can see that. I think, Mary needs to have a word with you, I think, Patty, because Patty sounds to me like Mary's actually tuning into her sixth sense. Definitely the way she's been detective with my mind, certainly, and what she's been witnessing here. Not just on this broadcast, but on the previous one today when we were out and about travelling. So, yeah. Now you have... Actually, no, I won't, Brenda. I'm just going to have one of those sleeps in approximately 20 minutes where you don't remember what you dreamt about, because it's just going to be a well-needed and decent rest before I'm up early later this morning, because it is now already Mary and others here in Europe. It is already Thursday, the 26th of September, 2019, and you're so yesterday, Patty, Brenda, Jeff, Nick, Elliot, and others. Plenty of others that we haven't mentioned. Okay, I better just get the button here sorted out and say thank you very much for joining me. It has been really good chatting with you all, guys and girls. And yeah, thanks for being there. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the entertainment. Yeah. And thanks for keeping me on my toes and making me do all this hard work for so long here. Look at it. Goodness me, 90 minutes broadcast. Martin, you look sleepy after. Yeah, I'm very exhausted. I'm mentally drained at the moment, quite frankly. As I say, was at a very low point yesterday, hence the incident that happened. And what I'm going to say now, because it probably won't come up again, the opportunity in well, I've got no plans for it to come up, but drained, and all I can say at the moment regarding what happened about 30 hours ago is that there are a lot of delays on quite a few journeys on the route that I usually use coming out of London. We'll leave it there. Mary, yeah, you're probably right there, Mary, before you say anything and comment. Say goodbye to one another, please do, because I'm about to press that button that makes me disappear off the screen. Night, Martin, see, I absolutely will, Brenda, and we might be here when I'm travelling later on today, Thursday, but very possibly not. Certainly after Mary telling us that we've been really, quite almost offensive to other travellers, yeah? All your fault, Mary, yeah? That there won't be a mobile broadcast. No, that's not true. But I might go live, but the fact that we've had so many over the last 36 hours while I've been out and about, I might have a rest from that. But that's just my current state of mind talking, knowing that I'm tired, and in the mindset I'm in at the moment, and the tiredness I'm feeling, because it is sleep time, that's making me... It's a bit like when you're not hungry anymore because you're stuffed with food, yeah? You're like, I won't be eating anytime soon. I can't begin to think about what I'm going to have for lunch tomorrow and what sandwiches I'm going to buy. In the same way, I can't think about anything now, any other mindset other than the exhausted mindset, which I'm in at the moment. And so there we have it. Am I rambling? Sort of. Or is it something else that was mentioned earlier on? Babbling, perhaps. Right. Goodbye, everyone. Over and out. Till next time.